everyone. Okay, so obviously the bulk of this episode was focused in on picking back up with the fight between Kuzan and Garp, while intersplicing in between the fight, we also get to see flashbacks to a time where Kuzan, in his younger years, was training under Garp. And obviously these moments are meant to show just how deep their connection goes, and just how tragic it is that they're on opposite sides of the moral spectrum now, as it were. But it's moments when you see Garp training Kuzan using the effective battleship bags, where where according to Commodore Brenu, they're basically it's basically Garp and Garp and Kuzan using battleships as punching bags, which is metal as fuck. But it's in moments like this where it does kind of where, in my opinion, it really does reinforce the point, to me at least, that these two characters, Kuzan and Garp, are the only ones who effectively earn their spots in the hierarchy of the Navy. I know how controversial that sounds, but out loud. But when you really think about an organization like the Navy, or even hell, what happened with Smoker after Alabasta, how many of the named Marines we've come across in the series do you think have ever only earned their ranks and titles just based on accolades alone? Like, I bet it's at least half of them. Whereas Garp, Kuzan, and hell, I'll even throw Smoker in the mix again after Alabasta. Like, these are essentially the Marines who did kind of earn their ranks through that age-old sheer force of will, hard work, and determination, which does make it all the more sad to see Kuzan not only throw it all away, but to see both men opposing each other. Because from Kuzan's perspective, no matter what he was forced to do as a Marine, he always had Garp to turn to, and it was Garp he leaned on in order to question, in order to, whenever time we questioned, is what he's doing correct, and it was Garp who allowed him to just find comfort in the fact that he was still alive despite all that. Although that also does also although that's also what weirdly leaves me feeling more convinced than ever that Kuzan is playing some deep cover game, where he is in fact a member of Sword, and why he's a perfect fit for it. Because whatever mission he's on involving the Blackbeards is likely something where he can't afford to make any slip-ups or show any signs that he still holds loyal to the Marines. Him being a member of Sword in itself allows Kuzan to continue his work as a Marine with more of the freedom in order to do things the way he believes he should do it, like based pretty much on his own moral compass, and how he views like his own brand of justice. And I think being able to do that while not taking orders from Sakazuki, Sword does feel like a perfect fit for Kuzan, honestly. And aside from the stuff with Kuzan, this whole episode could be chalked up to an exercise seeing just how much pain Garp can take. Because on top of the battle with Kuzan, man took a sword to the gut from Shiryu, and yet not only survived, but flung the creep onto his back. And I loved how Kuzan was the only one to recognize in that situation to recognize that even after getting stabbed by Shiryu, he'd still wipe the floor with all of them. Garp is a fucking tank, and none of those idiots on the battlefield could really see that. Obviously we should talk about how, in a way, Garp's situation is in fact kind of Kobe's fault, and how that continuing theme still kind of continued out even throughout this episode, and that is undoubtedly true. But when you really take a moment and really understand Garp as a character, I genuinely believe he didn't give a fuck about whether it was Kobe's fault or not, when it's clear he was not only enjoying himself, but he does generally see something in Kobe where he does see a successor in him. And admittedly, with the preview we got from next week's episode, Kobe is going to have his moment, but I also have to say, this is one of those episodes where I do wish Toei adapted 2 more chapters rather than just one. Adapted 2 chapters rather than just one, because it would have made Kobe come out of this episode feeling a little less useless. But I get why they didn't, because they did want to put much more focus on the emphasis on Garp and Kuzan with this episode. So in that regard, they succeeded. It's just when it comes to Kobe, yeah, we're gonna have to wait a week before we get to see what he does and whatnot. Um, Now, with that said, art and animation with this episode is a little strange, if I'm being honest, because it was pretty good. I'll say that right again. The art and animation was pretty good. It's the quality we've come to expect from. It was the quality we've come to expect from this arc, but simultaneously something did feel off about it. And the only way I can describe it is the animation was great, but it could have been amazing. And it's just one of those times where, for one reason or another, having extra time to work on the episode just for some reason didn't translate as well as it could have into the episode's animation quality. Although on the flip side of that, I will say art was still very much on point, so that's at least worth something in the episode's favor, I suppose. But yeah, animation, as far as animation goes, it's like it was good, but it could have been better too. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. From my Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll, be sure to notification bell, subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight signing off. Later, everyone.